Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My brain cannot process what we are seeing. Another over 10% down move for AMC stock. Really, this just doesn't make any sense to me. So we're going to talk about it. And who knows what's going to happen next for AMC. Obviously, the selling has gotten more extreme than I thought it was going to be. I don't think retail investors are selling out as much as you might think by looking at the price action of AMC. And just as kind of a gauge of reference, I would highly advise you guys to watch the amount of views these videos get. I'm not trying to give myself credit here because obviously the trade has not come through. It has not happened yet. The stock has been falling for literally years. But here on this channel, we have been not the only channel to continuously cover AMC. I believe Thomas has also continuously covered AMC as well this whole time. But besides that, I mean, nobody's really covered the stock every single day the way that we have. So I highly recommend that you guys just watch the amount of views that creators such as myself and other members that have continuously talked about AMC every single day, track how their videos have done recently and compare that to kind of what we've seen over the last couple of months. Because if the views are better or even similar to what we've seen over the last couple of months, I think that's a pretty good way to gauge how retail investors are going about their positions in AMC. It's obviously hard to tell because we don't have a crystal ball to what, retail investors are doing with their positions, but that's the number one thing that I would tell you guys to watch for if you are concerned retail is selling. What I personally think is going on is you are seeing a massive shorting attack, and this attack has been happening for about 7-ish trading days or so. Ever since the actual, 2 days before the reverse split and after the reverse split, every single day you have seen a massive shorting attack. There's no other way to put it, guys. Take a look at the official short interest report that we got back here on August 15th. The settlement day was August 15th. The day we actually got this data was August 24th. The short interest hit a new high, a fresh new high, highest that we've ever seen, of 29.24%. And I talked about this in the last video, so if it sounds redundant, I guess I apologize, but I think everyone needs to know this. That was back here when AMC stock hit a low of $29.12 and hit a high of that day of $33.53. This day, AMC stock actually rallied about 8.5%, and you somewhat rallied about 10% the following days. And then what's happened recently? You were down 24% on August 21st. Then you were down 18%. Then you were down 13%. Another 27% after that. Another 13.5% after that. And another almost 11% today. So, given the short interest was already at a brand new high back on August 15th, when we get the next exchange reported short interest number, it is likely to be, no exaggeration, 35 to 45%. And like I said in the last video, it would not surprise me personally if the short interest came in over 50%. Based on the actual selling that we have seen. And maybe some of you guys could kind of extrapolate the data from the exchange reported short interest that we had seen based on the volume. Really, the exchange reported short interest has been rising for a long time. Ever since really back here in January, where you were at about 22%, to August at 29%. Maybe you guys could extrapolate the percentage gain of kind of AMC since January until August 15th and come to that calculation and then extrapolate that to what's happened recently with the stock. You could probably get a pretty good estimate of where the short interest is. And I think you guys would come to my same conclusion. Low end 35%, higher end 45%, could be over 50%. But I would put my money on 35 to 45%. Now, what does this mean? Well, couple this with extremely oversold technicals. On the RSI, I guess you were more oversold back here in January of 2021 when AMC stock fell from, the 70s, 60s. This split adjusted price is in the 200s. So just imagine when the squeeze happens again. The split adjusted high was $393. Imagine when the short squeeze comes. You're talking literally hundreds or thousands of dollars this time around. And I still firmly believe there is a short squeeze coming. There is no other way that this thing ends besides a blow off top short squeeze event. Let me know down below in the comment section where you guys think the stock could go. But it's certainly, in my opinion, in the hundreds, if not the kind of low thousands. That's what I would expect could happen, possibly. Now, last time you were this oversold, like I said, was January of 2022. Besides that, you have not been this oversold on AMC throughout this entire movement. So this is pretty comparable to what you've seen back in January. And what happened back in January? Well, pretty much once you get to these really oversold levels on the RSI, if you guys are fans of the RSI, that is about 17.5, which anything under 30 is oversold. Well, you bounced right at that 17.5 level. And then you went from a low of about $73 to a high of $114. Then you fell again, made that double bottom, and then you rallied from about $68 all the way up to about $186. That was a gain of about 3x at the time. So now where are we at on the RSI? We're at 23.15. So if this is the same as kind of what we seen in January, there could be a little bit more selling. And then once you do hit that super, super low level on the RSI, that's when you can get a very explosive bounce. Now, I expect the selling to end anytime now. I thought previously $12 per share was going to be a good level of support. That obviously has not came true so far. You could retake $12 per share very easily. The float is small in AMC, so the stock can move a lot. These drops that we're seeing are having big kind of dollar movements to AMC. Just, a week ago, you were in the mid-30s. Now you're $11 per share. So you can see some very big movements with AMC stock here. But I do believe $10 per share is a big kind of psychological level. If you don't bounce at $10 per share, then you have a big problem. But I look at this quite constructively. I sit here and say, hey, what's actually happened with AMC? Obviously, there's been dilution, converting APE into AMC. That's obviously, a factor that has been in play here that has caused downside to AMC stock. But I do think there has been a massive round of dilution already priced into AMC stock. I don't think if the announcement came out today that AMC stock sold 25% of its float and raised capital, that would be a huge shocker to the markets. I mean, that's less than even the drop that we've seen for one of these bad days back here on August 24th. On August 24th, AMC stock dropped almost 27%. I don't think this would be huge kind of panic. I think this would actually be a moment where investors say, hey, AMC did a large round of dilution. We're probably not going to get any for a long time, or at least for a while until the stock recovers. Maybe that's when we should cover on our short positions and get out of this trade. That's quite logically and constructively the way that I am kind of seeing this as we're watching this play out. That's what makes the most sense to me. Obviously, you have to read through the lines, and there's a lot of kind of differentials you could put in here. Obviously, not all hedge funds think alike, or not all hedge funds kind of make the best judgments or make the best decisions. That's why hedge funds go bankrupt all of the time. But just based on where you are right now, this kind of selling cannot just continue. The valuation, like the street said earlier today, is way, way down compared to where it was. AMC's market cap is less than $1 billion. AMC's market cap is $958 million. AMC stock is, on a market cap basis, considered a penny stock. Close to a penny stock. I believe a technical definition of a penny stock is under $5 per share or under a $500 million market cap. Could be wrong there. Might be under $1 billion though. So AMC is getting pretty close to being technically a penny stock as far as the market cap. This means your valuation has got destroyed recently. So just on a valuation, kind of basis, makes a lot of sense to be long AMC right now and to really double down on some of those positions. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial planner, but if you were averaging down for the last 2 years, there would be no better time than right now to actually do so. That would move your average down by a lot. If you even look at the analysts, which the analysts are full of shit and they're clueless 99% of the time, their average price target is $20 per share. That is an upside return of 61.5%. So usually AMC, any other time in the last 2 years, has been well higher than the average analyst price target. So you have gotten beaten down and then beaten down again. I can't even believe it. We're sitting here and saying hedge funds and analysts have a higher price target than where AMC stock is currently trading at. 61.5%? What? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. But yet the stock continues to sell off. So I don't know when the selling is obviously going to end. I thought it was around $12 per share. It could be 10. It could be 8. If you get to $8 though, give me a break, dude. That would be probably a sell your kidney moment. Now, obviously don't sell your kidney. Just a joke. Some people take everything I say way too personal, way too literal. Don't sell your kidney. Don't buy whatever you cannot afford to lose. I am not a financial advisor. I should just tattoo it or write it across my forehead. Not a financial advisor. Because these activities are very risky. You've known getting into this trade, it was risky the whole time. I've known this. You've known this. Everyone else has known this. But a lot of people have been buying the dip the whole time. And there, in my opinion, has never been a better dip to buy. Again, not a financial advisor. But I think it's pretty common sense. AMC stock on Ortex is not getting the best data. It's really not getting any data at all that is accurate. Even Interactive Brokers cost borrow fees are not loading today. Maybe it's a Monday thing. Maybe it's the conversion actually not giving us these numbers. But last we knew on Friday, cost borrow fees were about 740%. I imagine they're probably even higher than that today, probably closer to about 1,000%, or maybe even more. That's kind of what we have seen recently, even from Interactive Brokers after the reverse split. But all the numbers are wonky. Live short interest off free float says 11.57%. That's obviously not true. And your cost of borrow fees are anywhere from 0.35% to 56%. They're just not true. Okay, there's nothing true about what you are seeing with this Ortex data. Even the option activity is not loading, and I have logged back in to Ortex a couple of times. I've refreshed it like 20 times today, and you're not getting any data coming in for AMC, which I don't know how long it's going to take before the data is actually accurate and something that we can go off of or maybe, put an actual measurement to. But, as of right now, it's not. And if you look at the put to call ratio at 1.53, that means for every call, there's about 3 puts that are currently held on AMC stock, and you've been very high with this put to call ratio. It's actually starting to fall. What you've seen on Friday is the option activity actually did register for AMC over here on Ortex, and you did see a positive order value of about 65%, which was a lot more positive than what we have seen recently, of that positive order value being in between 1 and 4%. Now, we are also seeing something very strange with the Stocko tracker data. I'm currently trying to figure it out. That is just very weird. So in the video we made earlier, there was only about 2,000 calls that were in the money. Now there is 122,000 calls that are in the money. I don't know if this is a glitch, but as you can see, I'm refreshing this page and it is staying here. I don't actually see this represented on the option chain, but if that is the case, then maybe there was some very bullish trades that were actually bought today from hedge funds and institutions. We don't have the option activity from Ortex, so I don't know the positive order value. I don't know what's going on with the actual option activity, but I don't also see anything new on the option chain as well. But then again, it does not look like this is even accurate. Let's go ahead and just make sure this is fully updated and refreshed here. And yeah, it just doesn't look like there's anything here. And I look down all of these expirations, and that really opens up another conversation of just there's such a lack of option activity that could be very bullish if you start to get some calls being placed. But it's strange. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Did a whale of some sorts, a hedge fund or institution, come purchase a bunch of shares of AMC? This Stock Tracker data is aggregated right from the source, so you don't necessarily need to see the option activity on the option chain over here on a Webull or a Robinhood to get that data coming up from Stock Tracker. That's why sometimes Stock Tracker data is a lot higher than what you're actually seeing on the option chain, because it's aggregated from the source. It's from, your prime brokers. So let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. Very strange. And go check out the last video. There was 2,000 calls in the money. It looks like 120,000 calls, like almost exactly. Yeah, if you minus 2,000, 120,000 from this, you were at 2,479. That's roughly what we had to report to you in the last video. And if you look at it on the actual option chain, I mean, that's pretty close to what you're actually seeing as far as the numbers here. You have 154 for open interest at the $10 call. That's in the money. And you have 2,543 for open interest at the $11 call. So that's almost exactly, if you added what we're seeing on the, or subtracted what we're seeing on the option chain to 122,000, that would almost exactly equal 120,000 calls that were purchased. Maybe this data has just not come up yet, but it definitely looks like, my opinion, a whale just took on a massive position in AMC, and that would obviously be very exciting and probably lead to some pretty good things for AMC stock, guys. So there is that. As far as what happened in the markets today, a lot of volatility. That is just clear if you've been watching the markets at all today. The Nasdaq or the S&P, everything closed up pretty good. The Nasdaq up almost 1%, S&P up over 0.5%. Same thing for the Dow and the Russell 2000. But there is a lot of volatility. At one point, the S&P was almost red. Really big candles back and forth. That's because we get the JOLTS job openings coming out tomorrow morning, and this is important because if the job openings fall, then the Fed does not need to see a recession necessarily. That is one way the labor market can cool without needing to see unemployment rise. So the lower the JOLTS job openings, the better. And that data comes out tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then you're going to be followed up on later on throughout this week. Some inflation rates coming out of Europe. And then on Thursday, you're going to have the PCE numbers, personal income, personal spending. And then on Friday, you're actually going to get the government non-farm payroll report as well as the unemployment rate. So some very big data coming out this week. Tomorrow is the first round of big data that you really need to know, and this could affect AMC. It could affect the markets. Now, I'm just more curious on what's going on with the actual option chain, because those 120,000 calls that presumably were purchased right before the bell today, since they are not showing up, could have a big impact to AMC stock. So that is going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think about all of this down below in the comment section. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.